While most people think crypto is still uncertain, the biggest players in the world are already positioning. Not retail, not influencers. We're talking about institutions, governments, and banks. And right now, we're seeing signals that could define the next phase of the market. Welcome to Ledger Pulse, where we break down what's actually happening behind the scenes in crypto. If you want to stay ahead of the market, make sure to like and subscribe because this is moving fast. Before we continue, this content is for informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. The S&P 500 just erased its losses and turned green. That's not just a bounce, it's a signal. Because in an environment filled with uncertainty, mixed sentiment, and heavy headlines, capital is still stepping in. And that matters because crypto follows liquidity. When markets stabilize, capital starts searching for upside. Moving on, we have Ripple receiving an investment grade rating. This changes everything because institutions don't operate on hype. They operate on risk, ratings, and compliance. And many of them cannot allocate capital without investment grade exposure. So this isn't just credibility, it's access to institutional capital. At the same time, Ripple is rolling out treasury infrastructure, custody solutions, and integrated financial tools. And the key difference? This isn't built for retail. It's built for banks, corporations, and financial institutions. No friction, no learning curve. Just integration. That's how adoption scales. And here we have Ethereum still showing high network usage, hundreds of thousands of active addresses, and continued growth, even in uncertain conditions. That tells us demand hasn't disappeared and activity is still real. And historically, strong usage during uncertainty leads to delayed price reactions. Now, this is where sentiment starts shifting. Markets are increasingly questioning whether Ethereum will maintain its position as the number 2 crypto. But here's what most people forget. This isn't the first time that position has been challenged. XRP has historically held the number 2 spot multiple times during previous cycles. And every time it happened, it wasn't random. It was driven by narrative shifts, liquidity flows, and utility speculation. So what we're seeing right now isn't necessarily Ethereum failing. It's the market reopening a competition that's existed before. Because the number 2 spot isn't fixed. It's contested. And when sentiment starts shifting, that's when rotation begins. And here we see Ethereum funds saw major outflows. At first glance, bearish. But zoom out. At the same time, Bitcoin is seeing inflows, as are other cryptocurrencies. Capital is moving. Institutions are adjusting. This isn't money leaving crypto. It's moving within it. That's what smart money does. According to Eleanor Terrett, a small group of banking and crypto leaders are reviewing stablecoin legislation tied to the Clarity Act. And here's what matters. It's happening privately, before public rollout, before headlines. That's how institutional frameworks are built, quietly. Now let's zoom out. This isn't just about price. It's about infrastructure. We're moving toward tokenized assets, digital financial rails, and programmable value systems. And institutions aren't waiting for permission. They're preparing now. Now let's talk about something subtle but important. The relationship between altcoin performance and economic expansion, measured through ISM manufacturing data. Historically, when ISM rises, risk appetite increases, and altcoins perform better. And recently, we've seen movement in that direction. This is a market signal. It means something meaningful is happening, but it's being understated. Because in markets, the biggest shifts often start quietly. So right now, there's a disconnect. On one side, we have fear, uncertainty, and narrative confusion. On the other, we see institutional upgrades, network growth, and regulatory progress. That gap, that's where opportunity forms. Smart money isn't reacting. They're positioning early, watching regulation, focusing on infrastructure. They're not chasing hype. They're preparing for scale. If this continues, institutional capital accelerates, infrastructure dominates, and narratives shift quickly. And then retail follows. This market feels uncertain, but underneath, institutions are moving, capital is rotating, infrastructure is expanding. And when those align, the move that follows is fast. If you made it this far, you already see what most people are missing. This market rewards patience, awareness, and positioning. If you got value from this, make sure to like and subscribe to Ledger Pulse, and let me know, is the number 2 spot about to shift again? I'll see you in the next one.